Hello everyone, in this content we will learn together about variables and data types in the Java programming language. In the previous lesson, we had an overview of these variables. These are the variables. Here's this variable, here's another variable. But I never talked about it. The purpose is to make the program simple and easy for you to access. And we will learn specifically in this video lesson. So why are variables and data types created? And what's its purpose? Now I will take an example from life. We will have many different forms of matter. For example, water is a liquid, and to contain it we have to use sealed containers. For example, a cup, a bowl, a basin. The above items must be intact. Or vegetables we buy from the market, for example. Can we put vegetables in a plastic bag? We can also put it in a sack, put it in a basket, it's all fine. In the two examples above, the data types are water, vegetables. The variables are the containers for water and vegetables. Back to programming, you are using many different and familiar types of data every day. These are songs, images, texts, videos, social network account passwords, personal information stored on the phone. All of them are forms of data that are digitized and stored on electronic devices. So how can we load that data into the program for use? For example, when you select a photo to view details, obviously that photo will be displayed fully for you, right? At this point, we need variables. When the program runs, data is provided to the program for processing through variables. Thus, data types are used to describe and distinguish different types of data. Variables of each type are responsible for containing data in the type that it is specified. Variables are essentially memory areas allocated in RAM, which only exist temporarily while the program or application is running. When the application or program is closed or terminated, the variable is also destroyed. Are you clearer about the concept of variables and data types now? Now we come to the data types supported in Java programming language. There are two main data types in Java. These are primitive types and reference types. Primitive data types are the smallest types that cannot be further divided in Java. In Java, there are 8 primitive data types divided into groups of numeric types, character types, and boolean types. Numeric data types are divided into integer data types including byte, short, int, long with increasing sizes from 1 byte to bytes, 4 bytes and 8 bytes respectively. The larger the size of a data type, the larger the data value that can be stored in a variable of that type. Integers are numbers like 1, 99, 1048, minus 555. Integer variables can only store integers. The group of data types that describe numbers also includes real number types. These are float and double types. Specialized for storing numbers such as 0.5 to 34, 0.1 to 5. The float data type is for bytes in size, equivalent to the size of the int type, but is specialized for storing real numbers. The double data type is twice as large as the float data type. The difference between float and double data types in Java mainly comes from the storage capacity and precision in storing real number values. The precision of float type is about 6 decimal places. Meanwhile, the precision of double type is up to 14 decimal places. So, if you don't require high decimal precision, you can just use float type. If you require high precision, you should use double type. For example, you use these data types to store the value 1.1 to 3 for 5, 6, 7. Next, to store single characters such as uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters, we use the char data type. To store true or false values, you use the boolean type. These are the 8 primitive data types in Java. In addition, there are many data types that are classes, interfaces available in the Java library, or you define yourself. They are commonly called reference types. For example, the string type is used to store a sequence of characters. Other examples of reference types you are seeing on screen are string buffer, string builder, etc. Reference types, also known as object types, support methods used to perform calculations or data conversions. The difference between a char variable and a string variable is that a char variable can only contain a single character. For example, character X, character C, put in single quotes. A string variable can contain a sequence of characters that combine to describe a specific meaning. For example, the string hello world, put it in double quotes. We have just finished the part about data types in Java programming language. Now coming to the next part, talking about variables. Java is a strongly typed language. This means that each variable has a specific data type, and the type of a variable cannot be changed after it is declared. This means that an int variable can only store values of the int data type, and until this variable is destroyed, it will only have type int. The syntax for declaring a variable in Java is data underscore type variable underscore name. For example, I will declare an integer variable to hold information about someone's age. I declare the type of the variable as int and the name of the variable as age. Remember to end the variable declaration with a semicolon. For example, another integer variable named number. Another example, I create an integer variable named number of friends. Similarly, you can use the above-mentioned primitive or reference data types to create variables in your program. Note that there is a space separating the variable name and the variable data type name. And on one line, you can declare one or more variables. These variables will be of the same data type and separated by commas. Obviously, the variable declaration syntax always ends with a semicolon. For example, you see on the screen 3 variables x, y, z have the same data type int. That is, these 3 variables are only used to store 4 byte integers. About the rules for naming variables, you only use nouns or noun phrases to name variables. Variable names must be self-explanatory so that code readers can understand the purpose of the variable. For example, if you name a variable age, the reader of the code will understand that this variable is used to store someone's age or something's age. The variable number is used to store a number. The variable number of friends is used to store the number of friends someone has. X, Y, and Z are often used to describe values related to some mathematical expression. Next, variable names should follow the camel rule. That is, they start with a lowercase letter. If there are multiple words, the words should be written together and the first letter of each word, from the second word onwards, should be capitalized. Example valid name, numberofrians. Do not use spaces to name variables. Also, do not use characters other than letters, numbers, and underscores to name variables. Failure to do so will result in an error. Here are some other variable names. Full name is used to contain the full name. Address is used to contain someone's address. Email contains email like Gmail. Phone number is used to contain phone number. Similarly, you name the variables according to the rules that I have instructed. The next part is about assigning values to variables. The value of a variable can change. It can be assigned multiple times. Each time a value can be the same or different from the previous value. That is why it is called a variable. For example, I will assign different values to the age variable. Initially, I initialize its value to 0. Then I assign new value to this variable. For example, I assign age equals 15, 30, 55. Similarly, I will change the value of the full name variable from Tony Stark to John Flair. Now, I will do an example to illustrate the calculation of simple addition of two integers using variables. I will declare a variable a of type int and assign it the value 200. Next, I declare a variable b of type int and assign it the value 300. Now to store the sum of two numbers a and b, I create a variable named sum of type int, then assign the result of a plus b to sum. Finally, I will display the sum of a and b on the screen. Now you press Run Program to see the result. This is the result of calculating the sum of two numbers a and b. You have understood the above part, right? Here I will explain a little bit about the plus sign used in the println command. Its meaning is to concatenate strings. That is, we need to create a complete mathematical expression to calculate the sum from the operand components and related operations, including operand A, addition, operand B, equal sign, and finally the sum result. In this video, we learned about data types and variable declarations using variables in the Java programming language. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next interesting programming videos.